men of the United Nations Command Security Battalion, Joint Security Area, I'd like to welcome you to Camp Bonifas. The United Nations Command is a multinational coalition force which monitors the Korean armistice and helps maintain regional stability within Northeast Asia. The UNC Security Battalion was established in the spring of 1952 and originally consisted of 5 officers and 10 enlisted men. We reached our peak strength near the end of the Korean War with over 1,900 soldiers assigned. To put your tour into better context, I will briefly review the political history of the Korean Peninsula. Prior to World War II, the Japanese had colonized the Korean Peninsula. In the final days of World War II, the Soviet Union accepted the surrender of the Japanese north of the 38th parallel, while the United States accepted the surrender of the Japanese in the south. The 38th parallel was never meant to be a political boundary, nor a division of country. It was merely established to designate areas of responsibility. So, in May of 1948, elections were held in the South, and this man, Dr. Sung-Mung Rhee, was elected the first president of the Republic of Korea. In September of that same year, this man, Kim Il-sung, was appointed the Soviet Union appointed him the first premier of Communist North Korea. He reigned for approximately 46 years until his death in July of 1994. His eldest son, Kim Jong-il, succeeded him in power. This was the first ever father-to-son succession of power to occur in a communist country. Despite negotiations and attempts to reunify the Korean Peninsula, on 25 June 1950, North Korean forces launched a massive surprise attack in the south. The ensuing war lasted for over 3 years and cost more than 2 million people their lives. Within the first month, North Korean forces had captured most of the Korean Peninsula. Coalition forces finally stopped the North Korean forces' advance near the city of Busan. Over the next 4 months, the United Nations Command conducted the Incheon landing and pushed North Korean forces back to the Yalu River, the border between China and North Korea, at which point the Chinese army entered the war and aided North Korea in its war efforts. The war began to stabilize around the 38th parallel. Although no permanent settlement has been reached yet, on 27 July 1953, commanders from the United Nations Command, the Korean People's Army, and the Chinese People's Volunteers signed an armistice, or a ceasefire agreement, to end all fighting. This agreement is still in effect today, and the MDL has remained relatively the same ever since. This white dotted line represents the military demarcation line. Under the provisions of the armistice, all military commanders were ordered to pull their troops back 2,000 meters from their last point of hostile contact, thus creating a 4-kilometer wide, 241-kilometer long demilitarized zone, or DMZ. Note the location of Seoul and its relationship to the MDL. Here at Camp Bonifas, we are merely 400 meters from the southern boundary of the demilitarized zone and just 2.4 kilometers from the military demarcation line. This is the city of Kaesong. It is the original site for all armistice-related talks prior to moving to the Panmunjom, or what we call the Joint Security Area.